Unmute. There we go. GM, guys. GM. How are you all doing today? Do we have any Evmosinians in the house? I hope you're having a great day. Hello, hello, hello. So we have, as usual, we have Leomex. We have Joe Bluff. We have Denixon. We have Nasrit. I hope I pronounced that right. Vinx Crypto. GM. Good to see you guys. Moonbeam is coming on Thursday. But today it's all about the Evmos. So let's talk about it. Let's give you some alpha so you're prepared for tomorrow, guys. Cosmos is. Let's talk a little bit about Cosmos just to see where we are. Cosmos, it's its own blockchain. It's infrastructure that basically powers independent blockchain, and each of these blockchains are so-called tethered down to the core blockchain, which is called or referred to as the Cosmos Hub. And the Cosmos Hub, the Cosmos blockchain, is a proof of stake blockchain. A lot of interesting stuff to say about Cosmos. One of the things is that they're also developing something called Tendermint. BFT engine, I think it's called, which is a consensus algorithm which secures the overall network through. It's something like referred to as interconnected blockchain API, ABI, application blockchain interface. So there's a lot of interesting stuff with Cosmos, a lot of interesting developments and a lot of interesting developers. It's a very exciting community. But since last year, I think it was in May or something like that, they also reached out to and build those bridges to the EVM world and created the first EVM compatible chain in the Cosmos Hub, so to speak. So that they call it Evmos for EVM Cosmos. That's the wordplay. So what else? So because in Cosmos they work with Rust. And that's the language that's being used there. And EVM, as you know, it's Solidity. So the EVM compatibility Evmos is running with Solidity code. So that's why we easily can deploy our contracts there, as with all EVM chains. As usual, guys, you know the drill. We're going to deploy tomorrow. We're going to deploy at 10 a.m. PST. The Coxant and the Coxons, and we are building up the contracts charts here with the rapid speed. Good to know is that so on Thursday, so tomorrow Tuesday, we're gonna do deployment of these two. On Thursday we're going with Moonbeam, and then we have some exciting ideas how we're gonna deploy Burn. Possibly we're gonna deploy them all at once, so it will be like a burn day. But let's see, and yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. And as always, if you're new, realize the magic of the Zen Torrent contract. Watch my videos if you have no idea how it works. But it's a contract that creates virtual minting unit that connects with the underlying Zen protocol. I bring this up every time because I want you guys to have an awareness of actually what we are doing. Just not to always have an awareness what you're doing, not just interact with protocols here and there. It's really good to like have this awareness of what you're interacting with in the first place. And this is an amazing product because the contract has no admin keys, it's immutable and all of that. But at the same time, the XENFT that you are getting, it's a work of art. It's immutable, on chain. fully on chain. It's dynamic. It's functional. It fills a function. It's not just a PFP. It has the exposure of the users to being able to more efficiently batch mint, but also exposes them to the rarity option. And it's burning like hell, guys. It's burning so much. So it's really working exactly as intended. Rarity charts, we've tested rigorously. We're getting better and better in our routines. We tested rigorously now on Evmos. So instead of using, we came to the conclusion, instead of using test nets, what exchange to get Evmos? I'm gonna get to that like in just 1 second. Within 2 minutes, I promise you, Joe Bluff. Who's the young guy on the screen? Thanks very much. Where's Sensu? Yeah, I removed my beard. I lost like 10 years. So yeah, incoming hunk. Ooh, Kim Jong-un in the house. Then we know we're safe. But anyway, we test rigorously because instead of using test nets, because they can differ, and just to be sure what we have done without telling you, we deployed the contract on Evmos already live, but we used like other names, like Pippi Longstrump names and stuff. So even if you find them, you're not going to be able to do anything with them. But just to make sure that everything works as intended. Burn levels are the same, guys. The VMUs are 150 to 200. The limited 250. The power level is 12,500 and up as always. So I think there's going to be interesting because the gas is very cheap, very cheap on Evmos. Also, the price of Coxen, the burn token, the native token, so to speak. The native token is Evmos on Evmos, but our contract Zen token is called Coxen. So that's very cheap. So we're going to look at some stats with holders, etc. We're also doing the SenStake contract. So once you've exhausted your energy for this, quickly move on to this because we're deploying the contracts at the same time, and you want to be earlier because the prime and Fibonacci numbers occur much earlier in the beginning. Bridging. Take a screenshot of this, guys, because there's always some like bridging between different worlds in the most efficient way. This is a route that I found to be. I'm going to show you exactly as well, but you can just screenshot it using C-Bridge from, if you have Ethereum, for instance, on ETH. You can use C-Bridge to get CE wrapped ETH, and then use that to get to Evmos on Diffusion. That's what I found is like the most efficient way to go. So let's dive right into some other interesting statistics. There we go. Yeah, so here we go. If we actually let's take a step back. Let's share this instead. This I absolutely love this overview because we can compare. It's apples and pears. Or in America, you say apples and oranges. In Sweden, you say apples and pears to compare two things that are not interchangeably comparable. But here we can see, like Ethereum is Ethereum. We can't really compare the apples and the pears or oranges because the cost of acquisition, or actually the cost of minting, is different because of the different gas costs on each chains. But it still gives some information about like usage. If we can compare with the gas costs, as a metric as well. So what we can see is that Evmos, despite having very low gas costs, despite working very well, it hasn't been minted a lot at all. So this is just how users have like chosen to mint here or there as their favorite chain. This tells us something. But since it's the same metrics, the same contracts on each chains, there's opportunity, guys. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But let's look at some statistics. What's it? Hey, Zenzu, did you work with Jack in Alphabet back in the days? No, I did not. Yeah, global rank, active minters, total supply. Get a feeling of the harmony between total supply and liquid supply. So liquid supply plus total staked is total supply, which is for now, because before we initiated burn, which we haven't yet. So, but it gives an idea for us, like how popular staking is, for instance, on different chains and stuff. And it's one metric that you can look at as well. The EA is gone. The AMP is just chugging along, reducing, doesn't care about anything else. And the term days is now up to 449. So that's very interesting. You can also check the Explorer. It's let me give you the. Let me post it in the chat so you have it here. The Explorer is called escan.live. That's what they use. You have to sort of get familiar with all of these Block Explorer, because it gives you the insight of like seeing everything that goes on chain, because everything is transparent. Yeah, it's like what I like with Etherscan is you have so much data and you know how everything works. So blockchains who copied Etherscan is much more like favorable, I think. But anyway, you have the different information there, and you can also look at the token contract there. And here we can also see the holders. So the holder distribution is that there's some kind, I don't know what contract this is, maybe you guys know, some diffusion LP rank, which holds 26% on Evmos. But it's like, it's very easy to become a whale on Evmos, because you just like take this times multiply it with the current price of Evmos, of Coxen, and I think it's like 600 million. It's like $4,000 or something like that. So it's very easy. If you want to be whale on a chain, you can easily. Yeah, it's probably some LP, exactly, some LP contract or whatever. And there is an ENS on Evmos. Yeah, okay, interesting. So yeah, guys, that's how it looks like. Here, let's check. This is where you go. The countdown is live, 20 hours, 15 minutes, 7 seconds until go time. So you still have some time to prepare. This is the process of how you mint. As always, you choose the number of EMUs. It's going to be 200. This was just for testing. We put the safe limit to 200, and then we have the staking as well. So you need, of course, Zen, Coxen in your wallet in order to be able to stake. But I think, guys, these are going to go very, very fast, the unicorns, because it's so cheap. What is we can calculate it. 10 billion. How much money is it? So many zeros. So many zeros. You feel like a billionaire. Where do we have the charts? Here we go. You see the pump. The pump is here. The pump is live, guys. How many zeros is that? It's 8064 times 0.00000000. 68. Let's see. $68 for a unicorn. It's cheap. It's cheap. So don't miss out on that opportunity. I have some links as always on Sampedia, guys, which you can look at. And yeah, let me show you how you can get the token. So this is actually, this is not correct. I missed a step. Yeah, here we go. I post a link now in the chat, so check this out. This is the best. This is the best bridge that I could find. So basically, what you do is, if you have ETH in your wallet, you just bridge some ETH to CE WETH. And once you have that through that bridge, it works pretty fine. Then you go to diffusion and you swap that CE WETH to Coxon. It's so funny to say Coxon for some reason. I don't know why. So I'll post this link as well, guys, so you can get it. And as always, guys, if you haven't minted, this is the only way how to participate and get a unicorn. If you haven't minted on the chain. And we're going to use Orbit Market because people tell us it's the biggest NFT marketplace in the Evmos world. So we it has the similar structure about the other NFT marketplaces that we've been on. So it's going to be pretty easy to deploy there. Now, guys, we have to check some stats as always. It's very interesting to check the leaderboards. Where are we on ETH? Actually, now we're in Phantom. Let's go to ETH. ETH Zen Torrent. We burned 1.4 trillion, almost 1.5 trillion. Yeah, it is a weird name. It is a weird name. So yeah, Bitcoin, it's pumping. So we can see there, the unicorn is gone, guys. The unicorns are gone. We're in the exotic environment on the Ethereum world, and we can see that it's working perfectly fine. On Binance, it's another story. We're also in the exotic era on Binance. On Polygon, on the other hand, we're in the legendary war zone. So a little bit more than 25% of all the legendary have been minted, and some of the epics and some of the rares. So, but all the unicorns and all the exotics are gone on Polygon. Burned 7.2 trillion just for the Torrent contracts. Quite amazing. And then we have Phantom, absolutely beast, guys. Here you have all the unicorns, exotic, legendary, epics. We're in the rare era of Phantom. So it's your last opportunity, perhaps, to get a Apex XENFT on Phantom, which is quite cool. Now, what I wanted to show you also is the fact that what we saw, I thought that the estimated supply of the overall Zen on ETH was didn't update. So I asked the guys at Turbo, can you update this, because it's not really working. So they did, and we can see, bam, like that. According to the new estimates, the estimated future supply is not 545 trillion that it used to be. It's 420 trillion. So just like that, new estimate has lowered with 125 trillion. So that's very significant. That changes a lot of different stuff. And it also shows things that we've been talking about for a long time. We can see here that this is on Ethereum. So it's basically, it is just Torrent, because nothing else has been burning there. So, and we're seeing, as we talked about many times, that it's the Xenians, they're eating more of the pie every day. And the ratio of burns are increasing in relation to the total pie as well. So everything like we talked about with yin yang and finding harmony and increased mining difficulty, etc. It's playing out exactly. It's not like rocket science. It's a very simple concept. So we can see that when right now the GUI is 21 GUI, so that's relatively low, as we know nowadays. So it might be a good opportunity to do some mints, perhaps. But we can see that with an increased mining difficulty, if we're heading into a bull market, 21 GUI is probably not something that we're going to see. So what's happened with the increased GUI and also a lot more burn, things are happening, and when people mint less and there's more activity on the chain through burning, this is something like the effect can be tremendously huge. As we can see here, it's like, what the hell? Like instead of 500 trillion in 8 years, we're down to 420. So like imagine in a year when you have a lot more contracts that that incentivize a user to burn Zen in order for something else. Because again, and I'm gonna say this every time I speak to you guys, but the whole idea is you're going from something that's highly inflationary in the beginning. I mean, we're already seeing the effects, the disinflationary effects, but you're transferring something that is highly inflationary initially to something that it's more scarce, and like that is constantly. We hear a lot that there's so many things going on and we can't keep up, but this is just the beginning. There's going to be so many more things, and all you have to do is go back to Zen, figure out your relation to Zen, to the Zen minting in terms of time, and then only participate in the things that really like interest you. There's no reason that you have to be part of everything that goes on, because you can't. It's not optimal. So participate in the things that really interest you. So let's go. Let's take some questions very soon. Just want to show you some more. Yeah, guys. Yeah, it's good to be excited about this. Yeah, check out Joseph's page, zen.pub. It's an awesome site. You have some stats here as well. Absolutely love it. I go to Zen Squad. I go to zen.pub. I also go to zen.mon, zenmon.com, and of course Zen Turbo. So I think that was it. Use the bridges. You can also go through centralized exchange. You could, if you have MXC or something like that. But if you can use a DEX, use a DEX as always. So yeah, guys, let me know if there's some questions. Do you imagine there will be a time in the future when it is the Zen minting rather than burning that will have to be incentivized? Not really, because if we create an ecosystem with a lot of interesting protocols, which we already have, then you're gonna want to participate in those, and you're gonna need. There's always going to be a reason to get them, I think, based on like the things that you can use it for, but also the fact that it's awesome for being built with first principles completely. So the thing though is that depending on your time horizon, you're going to have to choose, should I mint it or buy it? Because if you mint it long term, there's also the uncertainty of the future minting price, which can be in 400 days. If you're not considering that we might make protocols where you can use your upcoming mints as burn. We're playing a little bit with those ideas. Or like there's other like functionalities that we've talked about and that we easily could make, like flash loans and stuff like that, which can help you mitigate the future gas cost for claiming your mint. But you sort of already now, and it's interesting that we see this effect so clearly more and more, that I see many people like, maybe, like, because if you buy from the market, you're certain that you get it, and you get it right now. So there's like, if there's something in front of you that you need money for right now, what do you choose? Do you choose to initiate a 400-day mint, or you choose just to go to the market? It depends on your like how you value that cost of acquisition from the market versus the value you get from using it in the protocol that you want to use it for. So yeah. So I don't see like I wouldn't know what the reason would be for there to be no minting. Like, I can't imagine myself like not minting with Zen, minting Zen. Actually, how are you going to raise the price of the token? Like, this is a very fundamental question that we get a lot, and the how Zen differs as a project. What our focus is to build a huge network. And in order to do that, we need a strong foundation of something that's not going to be dependent on liquidity pumping the price of the token. Because what's the point of just building something that is going to pump and then later going to dump? Like there's millions of options like that. Zen is something that we built very strongly with a foundation that will when a bear market comes, when you have when you want to interact with something that is based on first principles, that's not going to fail because there is someone owning a large part of the network, which carries with it a huge amount of uncertainty, where you can manipulate the contract because you have admin keys, etc., etc. All of these first principles, like that's like the main focus. To pump a price of a token, we could easily have made Zen with 1 year amplification effect, and it would look great on the chart, but it wouldn't solve anything. So we want to build something that has the potential to go huge. And if you want to build something that can be huge, you can't have these uncertainties built in the foundation of the protocol. It's no point of building. Like if you haven't learned especially after 2022, that there's a need to build something with a much better foundation in the design, in the architecture, by removing the uncertainties and also making it fair, then you need to think about it. Exactly. Just 200 days, we're seeing wonders. So on high level, Zen is an invitation to X1. Does it make sense to have Zen minting on X1, or is it redundant? Yeah, we're not planning to have Zen minting on X1. Like you need to. X1 is an infrastructure play, whereas like Zen is a protocol, and then there's other protocols with other tokenomics, and it's X1 is one of the things that you can see if that's an interesting thing for you, but that's infrastructure. And what we want with X1 is to build an environment where we can do many interesting stuff. So the way to get X1 is through minting and burning actions on the other chains. Yeah, exactly. Like some people, they love the concept of Zen, and they love what it stands for, and they love the tokenomics. They're thinking long term. They're not interested in everything else that goes on. I'm interested in everything that we do, but they're not. So you can also just like whatever is being built, people are using it to convert their economic energy to something maybe more deflationary or whatever. They do that, whereas that will make the value of Zen increase since you're burning, and we're seeing that works very well. What is the utility and use case of Zen token? What do you want it to do? And we build it. The utility is that the use case is that it's based, like the short answer is that it's based on first principles. And basically there's nothing else even coming close to that, in my opinion. The utility is being created. Zen is created to become peer-to-peer cash and to be used as it. And in order to do that, you need to be able to use it for something. So already now you can trade it peer-to-peer. But you need to build a network, and you need to get adoption, and you need to build stuff that you can use it for. So the utility right now for the Zen token is that you can use it for Zen Torrents, which we're deploying now on Evmos as well. You can use it for staking, but you can also use it for other protocols being built, such as the Zen burn that we're coming up with. You have DB Zen, which is a deflationary model of a token. and you have Phoenix coming out, etc., etc. So all of this stuff being built will require Zen to use. Mr. Jack tweeted, we're thinking to include XENFT burn to extend distribution calculation. Yes. Yes and no. Like, but yeah, so the short answer is we're thinking if it would make sense to, let me know what you think, that you could burn XENFT. So what is a XENFT? It's an upcoming mint. So you could build something that would, instead of using Zen, like burn future Zen instead. You'd have to make a calculation for it, but it's totally possible. So, you know, if you're looking at it from a supply perspective, let's go to Zen Turbo. Let me show you what I mean. If you look at this, for instance, this is the future supply. Now, if you, this is estimated based on everything that's been minted. But if these mints don't come out, meaning that you burn them for something else, then what's going to happen with the supply? It's going to reduce even more or less in a ridiculous rate. So in that case, it's like, okay, I have my XENFT. Could I burn it for the X1 auctions, for instance? So that's what we're thinking. What's next after Moonbeam XENFT? Next. So if you're interested in next, by the way, check out DBSAM, because their process is like with a twist, but it's very interesting to study as a use case. You sort of have this, to participate, you have to pay a protocol fee, which goes to the stakers. And there's an auction type, and there's a deflationary daily supply. So it has a lot of the same characteristics with its own twist. But what we're going to focus on is the Zenites, which I also see a question of, which I'm happy to share some insights of, and also the Zen Burn. So with the Zen Burn, if you guys know, what we're going to do is that we're going to have, you can, the reason why there's a need for that product is due to the fact that let's say you want to burn some Zen and use that as a burn record to trade with it, for instance. What you can do now is get a limited or Apex NFT, or like another deflationary token like the EBSM, for instance. But we wanted to give the possibility, because it was a request from the community as well, to build something that you could burn any amount. So it basically is a protocol which borrows a lot of the same code from Zen Torrent, but you can burn any amount. And that's interesting. So it's going to have its own rarities as well. I'm going to present this very soon, because it's going to be a high priority later. But it's basically going to work in the way that in order to get the special rainbow collection, rainbow referring to, you have a multitude of colors which you have with the different collectors. We want to use that game theory with the collectors because it's built in. You could burn them. So there we actually will try the burns NFT concept in order to get this limited 250 or whatever rainbows NFT. And let me know what you think of this. Instead of doing deployment like one chain by one chain, we're actually thinking about deploying the same contract on all the chains at the same time, after carefully having tested that contract in the environment, but on mainnets. But we're thinking that could be a good, fun way to do it. So it could be like a burn day where you just go to your favorite chain and then ape in to get the rainbow XENFT. Let me know what you think about that. I believe this NFT burn is about burning the NFT itself to be eligible for XM distribution. Yeah, exactly. So there's different things we're talking about. It's the burns NFT, which is basically the last of the series of 3 of Zen Torrent kind of contracts. Yeah, and then and then there's another thing, which is how do you distribute X1 token. And there will have airdrops reflected in usage of the Zen burn and rarities that goes on. But the main thing there will be the auctions or the other kinds of distribution styles in order to, which is like for an L1, it's quite like unique to have a distribution like that that's based on usage. XENFTs, yeah. Let's go through that as well. That's I'm very excited about, and that's what's coming very soon as well. The XENFTs. Where are you hiding? My world. Oh, I know where it is. My mirror world is huge. Let me show you guys. We made a stream about this on CryptoKiness show. How it would work. It works a little bit like this. So, super interesting because it's the first time we are stepping out of the EVM comfort zone and going into the Bitcoin world. Because check my if you're interested in this, you have to check my video about ordinals. That will give you the base you need in order to understand what we're talking about. But there's a revolution going on right now with the Bitcoin chain, and you don't want to miss it. You don't want to sleep on that. I promise you. So basically, how it would work is that we would do an auction with Zen burn on the EVM side, and the winners would get a ordinal, which we limit to 100 on the Bitcoin side, which has already been inscribed. They've gotten low inscription numbers relatively, and stuff like that. And it's pretty cool. So the way it works is that you're participating in a bidding process where you basically bid how much Zen you want, and in that process you also provide your Taproot wallet ID, which is a Bitcoin wallet address, but it needs to have it needs to be Taproot. So I explained in my video all about how that works, but you're just providing your address, you proof for burn, just like the same process you do with the burning for whatever, and then you place your bid. And then you can also top up your bid based on if there's other bidders who push you down the list, because only the top 100 of the winners, of the highest bidders, will get these 100 XENFT ordinals. So the auction will be for 72 hours. And at the end of that, we will see who are the top 100 bidders. They will be airdropped a XENFT to their provided Taproot ID. So that's why you need to provide it here. If you're not in the top 100, don't cry, guys. Don't cry, because what happens is that the bidded Zen that you go in with, it's not something that goes into our custody. It goes into a contract where it will be locked for these 72 hours. And if you're not in the top 100, you can then, I think we're going to make it instant. Or like within a day or two at least. And the reason for that delay would be that we just want to check everything is all right. But I think we're going to make it like instant anyway. So it should be fine. But if you're not in top 100, you can claim your Zen back because it's your Zen. So it's an auction that's inspired by how Yuga Labs did their 12-fold auction, which was an ordinal auction, which was like very fun and had a lot of high engagement. And it's very simple, it's very clean, it's a lot of fun, but we're doing it much better, of course, because we're not taking custody of your tokens. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Check the kindness, because we also demo. Actually, maybe I can show you. Yeah, let's do that, because it's so fun. Since you asked. Switch. Stop. Bam. Okay, we're not in preview. Sorry, let me make this real quick. Yeah, not. Okay, it's not there. Yeah, okay, is it on testnet? Oh, okay, it's working on it right now, so I can't find it. Anyway. No, you know why? You know why? It was because I'm not on X1. Okay, no, he disabled it for now. But anyway, here you're gonna go and go check out this FAQ where we write a lot about exactly how it would work. But here there's gonna be this this auction anyway. He's working on it right now, so that's why it's not showing. I missed so many questions. Estimated supply is 420 trillion. It means we may see more crash on price of Zen. Yeah. No, yeah. Anything can happen for sure. It can go up. It can the price. It can do. It can go three ways. It can go up. It can go down, or it can go somewhere in between. So that's it. It's kind of like a football game. There's always a team that's winning, one's losing, or it's a tie. It's the same outcome every time. So yeah. If this NFT is burned, then the Zen will be unclaimed instead of burnt when maturity kicks in. Yeah, if this NFT is burned, then it's burned, so you can't claim it. So which means that the estimated mint, which this estimation of the supply is based on, of future Zen supply, will be removed. NFTs are not Zen though. Zen only comes to existence if someone redeems this NFT. Not sure not by burning it will help. Well, the thing is that in order to initiate a so what is this NFT really? It's basically a batch minter. So think of it as just a normal vanilla claim. Now, if I have a billion Zen coming out in a year, and I paid sort of, there's two costs associated with it. There's a cost up front and there's a cost later in the future. The cost later in the future is less because it requires less gas in order to initiate that process. But what you're basically doing is you're creating an incentive for someone to say, hey, that Zen that's going to add more supply in the future, which you'd have to pay for, there's an option now where you wouldn't have to pay for that because you could use that economic energy to do something else. That's basically the core idea of it. So, and if that happens, it means that that supply that was estimated to increase the future supply will be removed. So if those things are, so you can either burn like existing Zen or future Zen. Joe Bluff. So will there be auctions for burning NFT for X1 and next, or did the DB Zen replace next? So two questions there. That's what we're thinking about, the auctions of burning NFT for X1. Next is pretty much idle, but the DB Zen has like very similar, as you said, like things going on. So it's very interesting to study DB Zen and to see that if we do next, then how are we gonna stick to the original, or because there is differences in the reflective yield and also the allocation to the Apex holders. And I'm also very excited about it. I'm very excited about next. So it's going to be nice. What is the future of Zen with regards to the utility? Is it only minting and claiming token? It's the fact that you have a token which is based on first principles. That's the future. Any plans for DAO on X1, or is it too early? Yeah, it's way too early for that. What we're doing right now is we have initiated the X1 white paper. So we're going to go through the tokenomics of it and the tech of it as well. There's things we are pretty sure with that we want, ingredients, and there's a lot of stuff to figure out. We need a kick-ass tokenomics based on like everything else we've seen. Very like excited for that. As long as burning NFTs are not one-on-one with burning Zen, then sure, burn these NFTs. But if they would carry the same weight, then why would one buy Zen if they could just create Centurion and burn it? As long as... but the question of whether you should buy or mint Zen, no matter if it's for a NFT or vanilla Zen or whatever, it's always like in relation to time and what the current price is, both for Zen in itself and also gas cost now and in the future. So it's basically up to the user how they value it on the market. Keep it liquid Zen. Burning NFT for this cheapens the idea. Yeah, let me know why. Interesting with your comments. Because ultimately, like, so what Zen was, we have 8 years. So there's a lot of supply that we can play with. If you have 8 years of supply, then like X1, that's one of the like use cases for Zen, which is a very cool one, but it's still just one of them. So there's a lot, and there's a great value in the fact that you have something that's very abundant to begin with, because it creates a lot of opportunities to be creative and to create a lot of utility for Zen. So you could like, there's not, I don't understand why it would cheapen the idea, because it's like it's one of the use cases. It's the same. The only difference is like, I will have this future Zen, but you're adding the optionality in order to trade that future Zen earlier for something else. Can you go over what benefits I'll get from holding Apex NFTs in all chains? Am I getting X1 and next airdrops or drip for 5 years? So the various different chains, it depends on which chain you're most interested to be in. Like, what's the value of Zen, the value of an Apex on Ethereum is valued much higher, because the cost of acquisition is one of the reason, not acquisition, the cost of acquirement, which is the same thing. Is obviously a lot higher because of the gas fees, but also due to the fact that it's a bigger network and it has higher liquidity and all of these reasons. So that's for the different chains. Am I getting X1 and X airdrops? Yes. So if you're burning Zen, you are getting X1 airdrops, no matter what you're burning for. For the next airdrops, how we proposed and what we think we want is to give allocation for the Apex holders. With some requirement that you need to claim and hold for some time or whatever. Now there's like there's a lot you can do with this. So you can, it's kind of like the apes. What we sort of want is there to be an incentive to hold these NFTs, because that will keep up the floor. It's like the Bored Ape Yacht Club. The floor of the Bored Ape was 80 ETH in a bear market. There's constant incentives for users to hold them, because they're constantly like getting more and more benefits. So Next is a concept where we played with that idea that there's incentives basically for you to hold the Apex, which which does make a lot of game theoretical sense. And then as for how long in years, it totally depends on the overall game theory. So this is something like we can do a lot, and it's also something that other developers can do, like incentivizing. And this is, by the way, something we want to show with the Burns NFTs, where there is game theory enabled with the different collector series. And this is a very simple, fun way of using that existing game theory, that you just, in order to get something else, you need a collection of them in order to convert it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, as if I am but $100 of them now, I would get, let's say, 1 billion. But for $1,000, you can mint a Centurion that has 6 billion Zen on it. Yeah, it has, but it's in the future. So you would get you would get 6 billion, but it's in the future. So how do you want it now or later? You need it now in order to participate in something now, or you can value it to be something bigger in the future, which is still like, you can either think like you can participate in stuff now, or you can think like, yeah, but in a year there's probably going to be a lot cool things, and then I'll have a lot Zen in order to participate in that instead. So it's this constant like evaluation. Went into ordinal NFT. I did inscribe a lot. I have inscribed a lot of things, but I am thinking about if we should create something more. Like, so there's a lot of different like projects that I do like because they're doing innovative stuff, and there's it like, okay, so let's test the narrative that ordinals will be a thing. And I outlined in the ordinal video why I think it will be a thing. Due to the fact that like NFTs on Bitcoin, so let's say ordinals, that's one use case, but it opens up for so many more things. And it's a use case in itself, but also it gives like users eyes on Bitcoin and creates that awareness. So, and with that comes creators that create interesting stuff. So like I see many projects are like being very innovative. There's some projects that are building in the story, which is always interesting and important in an NFT. We have the story of first principles, like the Taproot Wizards. They have the story of fighting this sort of Bitcoin maximalism in a fun way. Yuga Labs is Yuga Labs. They're just like most like it's very, yeah, I don't want to go into that now, but they're at least trying different stuff with auctions, and which we can learn a lot from. So yeah, I think there's a lot there. There's a lot of value, and the earlier you are in that process, the higher the probability that you'll do something cool that will get a lot of attention. So that's why I'm eager to tell all the Scenians to learn about how that works with the ordinals, and why it's so cool. So you guys can create awesome stuff on it as well. Will there be weighing of Zen burning to favor liquid Zen over claimed Zen? Probably. Everything we will do there needs to be weighed in order, so it does make sense. I hope the X1 testnet chain gas won't reflect on the mainnet, because the gas is insanely high. Yeah. The way it's been designed is so that the gas will be very cheap. Now, there's no, like, the DevNet tokens that you've got, they know, this is very important, they know where you represent the value, because the tokenomics is not done yet. So if it's high or not, it totally depends on what the value is. So for now, it's just like a random number. can't say anything about the value yet. I minted 100 Evmos NFT that cost me 2 XN token. Yeah. There's a lot of activity though. Sorry, my question is not answered. What was your question? There's a lot of activity. We're seeing more activity on X1 that we see on many chains, which is pretty cool. Yeah, let me show you guys something else. How to get more Zen in X1 Dev? Any active swap? I think there's. I haven't actually tried it myself. I think you can convert your XN to Zen within X1. Crypto Fred, I think, did it. I can't find it now. But what is? Let's see here. What's the question? From KCK. What if this here? Maybe it was this. What is the future of Zen with regards to the utility? Is it only minting and claiming token? I mean, Zen. So the way that the Zen contract works is that you interact with the protocol yourself. There's no admin keys. It's a mutable code. It's a minting factory, how you can create your own value in exchange for only gas. So there's no token that's been pre-mined. There's no token. The contract doesn't have admin keys. It's completely mutable. So you have a way to interact with the protocol where the distribution, Zen is a token distribution model, where the distribution of the token is completely fair. And it's not in the control of anyone because it's 100%, not 100%, but it's very decentralized. The ownership is very much spread out. There's no one party that controls, or a few parties that control the network. The economic layer of the value entity is very decentralized, and that's what's very unique with it. So then the question is, okay, let's say we have a fair token distribution model. We had the most fair launch in launches ever. I still wait for someone to show me one launch that was more fair with the same amount of activity. Then if you have that, then the next question is, okay, what do I do with it? And this is the stage where we are now, when we are creating a bunch of different protocols which will use this fairly distributed token. And the way it makes sense is that we've seen so many things failing the last in traditional finance, but also in crypto and with traditional systems. So the need to have a token distribution model which is fair, which cannot be governed or controlled by one party or a few, and the code cannot be changed, is huge. It's what we need, because it's the same cycles every time. We are building up trust in systems that ultimately fail, and they fail because they're not living up to first principles. They're too centralized. You have to give away your custody. There's admin keys, so things happen with the protocol. It's not transparent, so you don't know what's going on. You don't have any of that with Zen, which gives the users predictability, because everything is transparent. So when you have all of that, it's very nice to be a builder and to be a user in an ecosystem where the rules are transparent and they are not manipulated. So that makes Zen like the underlying economic layer that we then can build a whole world of interesting stuff, which we do. And we're building protocols that will require Zen to be used. So that's the utility then of Zen. We're creating that utility. And we're very early in it, but there's a lot that's been built already. And with time, I think if we have a huge network and we have an awesome ecosystem with awesome products in it, then it attracts a lot more users and a lot more developers in it as well. Because they're not going to get burned with something that's failed based on the utility, or based on the underlying architecture of the protocol. And this is the reason why people love Zen, because it's something that they can trust. Because they don't have to trust it, because it's trustless. How to get more Zen? I have 1,000 and 0 Zen. All right. Yeah, I'll find it up. Will Move with XENFTs be on Friday? On Thursday, 4 p.m. CET. Yeah, exactly. Zen utility, peer-to-peer token based on first principles, and then access and participation, and also an ecosystem. Yeah, could you said that? So will there be an option to specify what I'm burning my NFT for? Separate burn for X1 or next? I'm assuming the auctions will be running at the same time. Yeah, you like every time you're burning, you will know what it is for, of course. Separate burn for X1 or next. Yeah, it's different processes, different protocols. I'm assuming the auctions will be running at the same time. Yeah, so with X1, we're thinking of having an auction process of like there's different ways how we can do it, but it depends on what we decide with the tokenomics, what makes more sense. You could have 3 years, you could have 1 year, and we did it 1 year. You could have daily or monthly opportunities to participate. The same thing with Next. The Next we initially thought like daily rounds. That's what DB Zen is doing. But it's basically what we think would make the most engagement. Trevor made a tweet today hinting that the Next isn't happening and DB Zen replaced it. Did he? That's funny. I mean, like, it's like, in my personal opinion, I still want to build Next. I think it's awesome because there's so many things with it. The 3 reflective yield streams, the auction style, the Apex and limited holder incentives. It basically would be like a very like a deflationary cross-chain token with 3 reflective yield streams. That's also deflationary. And yeah, it has the incentives is built in for stakers. So it has a lot that I think would be like very interesting to play with. But yeah, let's see. We are communicating. We have so many things going on. There's not a lack of ideas of what to do, but then there's timing. We spent a huge amount of time building Zen and building Zen Torrent, and I'm glad we did because it works like just as we want, and it's good as a foundation. And then we have next priority is the Zenites and the Zen burn contracts. So that's going to be nice. Next sounds the most interesting and definitely excited and love your days for it. Thank you very much, Olaf. Yeah, we're super excited about it too. Like that's sort of the thing where I think people need to wrap their head around the fact that we can easily create, like we already shown you like how we could create something like that. And I know a lot of people are interested in X because it's an awesome like project that makes sense. We can easily make, that's not the hard part, guys. It's not the hard part to create like a scarce token that's just going to be, I mean, we have the users for it in the community. We have the activity. The hard part is not to make a token which is going to be like very deflationary. We can easily do it, but the question is like what is the best route to reach the maximal adoption? Because only then will you have something that's going to be kick-ass. And we can, if we build this foundation, we can make hundreds of these super deflationary tokens. That's going to be awesome. But you sort of want to build a robust foundation first. So that's what, then like, let's say in a year from now, we can just create like, we can just GGN down deep into the forest of awesome tokenomics tokens. Unicorn Beach Party. Yes, sign me up. I need to get in shape first. I'm working on it. Too much in front of the computer, but I'm doing a lot of push-ups. I've increased the rate of pushing upping. Let's say with adoption, EC1 is built to handle the next 3 billion people that will come in the crypto space. Exactly. Like, what's the point of making something that's just going to be very, like, if you want to build real value, then we got to think big. We got to think a lot bigger. How can we build something that's going to reach like masses? For sure. And that's why we also don't want to rush the we know we are fully aware, and we want clarity for ourselves how the tokenomics of X1 would be, because then the existing users of Zen and all the different products can much better build up the game theory for what and how they want to participate. But we have to remember also at the same time, one of our competitive advantages that we shouldn't lose is the fact that we have the chance, the opportunity to make a layer 1 with the tokenomics and with the base that's based on everything that we now know. Whereas many others are stuck with the models that they made decisions of years ago. So, and once we more or less settle it, it's going to be settled. So we want it to be like really, 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 really good. But yeah, guys, I've been going for a long time. I have to do a lot of other stuff today. Thanks for the questions. Awesome questions, guys. Appreciate it. Cool to see so many people jump in with such short notice. So what we are doing right now is testing everything else, but the nodes will be more and more decentralized with time. So we need to keep it like super closed environment while we're testing, because we're testing like so far and wide but we're learning a lot from the different chains that we've deployed on, because we're really testing their ability to the max to handle like huge amounts of traffic. And that's an important aspect, because some chains have made some very strange design decisions. And you need to, in order to build something that will be optimized for the current demand, but also scalable at the same time, of course. You have not answered my question. I don't know what the question is. Maybe you should ask it. Thank you for your time, Sisu. Thank you very much, guys. So, guys, here's what's up. We're deploying Zen Torrent, Zen Stake tomorrow on Evmos. We're doing rigorous testing today. I'll see you. Go to the Telegram. We have a voice chat opened 30 minutes before the launch to pick up some questions and stuff like that. So go there and because anything can happen during launch. If there's some delays or if there's whatnot, you want to be there to hear that at least that everything is all right. And also you get like an edge when it comes to exactly when we're deploying it and stuff like that. We try to hit it exactly on the time, but what happens is that the contract needs to be deployed and then it needs to be enabled in the UI. So since this is like the fight is on, the fight for the unicorns on the Evmos chain is on, guys. Get your Coxen and get your Evmos so you can participate. It's very cheap. I think it's like $60 or something like that for a unicorn. Anyway, guys, have an awesome day. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the metaverse, in the matrix. Goodbye. Love you all.